Hi, welcome to Sprint 2 review for the team C minus minus. My name is Arvind and I will be doing the sprint review. So for this sprint, we had two epics to finish, the fine-tune probabilities and the managed simulation state. Um, so let me just show the application being uh, built and run from the Gradle, from the terminal. This is our app. So with respect to the sprint, I'll just go through the user stories. Um, so the first user story is that the Scrum Master must be able to select blockers arising during a sprint. So to achieve this, let's just create a blocker. I shall name this blocker one and blocker description for its description. Now, if I was to go to the blocker selection window, um, it lists blocker one, but it doesn't let me add it to the sprint backlog because I have not switched to the correct role. So I will switch to the Scrum Master role. And now if I go to blocker selection, the add to sprint backlog is now selected. The next requirement is that the Scrum Master sets a probability range for blockers. And the user story after that is also that the administrator can configure the probability of the solution for the blockers. So for this, we'll go to the sprint backlog. Here you have the blockers listed, and you can click edit probability blocker. And the first dropdown represents the blocker probability, and the second dropdown would be the solution probability. And the final dropdown is the solution which we have selected. Moving on, the system must calculate the threshold value using blockers and solution probability. Our system does that, and we will show this when we start a simulation. Next, the system must be able to check if all blocker thresholds to display sprint status. All right, so for this, I'm going to start a simulation, and I will just start one of our simulations. Simulation started. I will join the simulation. And in the simulation, we have a blocker, and the probability of the blocker is 54%, and the solution probability is 0. So by our logic, if we kept running the simulation again and again, we should roughly have about half the time that the sprint should be blocked. Currently, sprint is running, so I should close this. I shall stop the simulation. Now I shall start the simulation again so that it simulates the values and calculates it in the backend. I'll join the simulation. It's still running, so I'm going to try again to see if it's going to block. Now it's blocked. So there's about a 50-50 chance for this simulation to block since we have set the block up percentage, and the system has obviously add some fudge factor since it's 54 and not exactly 50. With that, we move on to the nice to have epics. We have completed that. So this epic states that the Scrum administrator must be able to store previous simulated states. If you were to look at our modify simulation, you can see that every one of our states has been saved in JSON, and we can also like modify the duration or the number of sprints in that state. Furthermore, the final use case is Scrum Master must be able to view previous simulation states. We get to do this by going to our start simulation, and we can basically select any of our previous simulation that's ever been created, and we can view it by joining the simulation and seeing what are the values or what are the state of it. So if you see here, I've joined a random simulation, and you can see the different values we have. And with that, we have finished all our use cases, and um, that concludes our sprint review. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.